And we're going to go ahead and put the date for Monday, since that's what we're going to be learning on Monday. 7th. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and start with a vocabulary word. So we're going to turn to page 53. And we're going to fill out the vocabulary word for additive relationship. So this is on page 468. And an additive relationship compares the independent and dependent quantities of a relationship using addition. Okay, and usually your equation is going to look like this. Y is equal to x plus a. Now the y is your dependent variable, the x is your independent variable, and the a is going to be your constant. So that's going to be the number that you're going to be adding to the x, and it's usually going to be the same number over and over and over again. Okay. Alright, so now that we finished our vocabulary word, go ahead and go back to page 60. Okay, now we're going to be taking notes, so I need you to write everything exactly the same as I am writing it in order for you to receive full credit. Okay, so like I said, this is additive relationships. Alright, so I'm going to give you an example and a non-example. Okay, so we're going to start with the example. Okay, so for the example, we're going to draw a table. And we have our input, which is the independent, and we have our output, which is our dependent. So for the input, we have 4, 5, 6, 7, and for the output we have 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, now if we look at our table here and we try to find the pattern, how do I get from 4 to 8? Well, you can either multiply by 2 or add 4. So let's try the next one. 5 times 2 is not going to give you 9, so we have to add 4. 5 plus 4 is 9. Now, same thing with the 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. 7 plus 4 is 11. So our equation would be y is equal to x plus 4. Okay. Now this is an example of an additive relationship because you are adding 4 each time. So the y is your dependent. Okay. The x is your independent. And the 4 is your constant. Okay? Now we're going to do a non-example. Now, again, we're going to draw a table. This is our input. This is our output. So we have 3, 5, 7, and 9, 15, 21. All right, so if I look at this table, how do I get from 3 to 9? Well, you multiply by 3 each time, times 3. How do I get from 5 to 15? You multiply by 3. How do I get from 7 to 21? You multiply by 3. Okay, so here, my equation would be y is equal to 3 times x. Okay, now again, the y is going to be your dependent. The x is going to be your independent. And the 3 is called your coefficient. Okay? Now this is not an additive relationship because you're not adding each time, you are multiplying each time. Okay? So here we were adding 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 each time, and over here we're multiplying by 3. So that's why this is a non-example and this is an example, okay, of additive relationships. Okay? Now, another way that you can see it is by looking at a graph. So, for example, let's say we have this graph here. Okay, we have 0, this is x, this is y, this is your independent, and this is your dependent. Okay, so we're going to go by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, we're going to go by ones. 1, 4. All right, so we're going to start at 0, 0. Then we have 1, 4. Then we have 2, 8. And it's going to keep going up this way. So, if I have this graph here, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw myself a table. Okay? And the table is going to help me organize my coordinate pairs. Okay? So I'm going to look at my coordinate pairs. Where do I have my points? Okay? Now remember, this is x down at the bottom, and this is y going vertically. So my coordinate pair, my first point is at 0, 0. 0, 0. The second point is at 1, and then I go up to 4. So that's the second point, 1, 4. My third point is at 2, and then I go up to 8. So 2 and then 8. Okay? Now, if I look at my table here, what is the relationship between x and y? Well, if I look here, how do I get from 0 to 0? Well, 0 times something is 0. How do I get from 1 to 4? 1 times 4 is 4. How do I get from 2 to 8? Times 4. So here, every time I'm multiplying this by 4. So here, my equation would be y is equal to 4x. Okay? Now, if I'm multiplying times 4, does that make it an additive relationship? No, because I'm not adding, I'm multiplying. So this would be a non-example. Now, for my next graph, we're going to, again, draw our x and our y. Here's our 0. Now, this time we're going to be going by tens. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And this is x. This is y. Okay? And again, this is our independent. And this is our dependent. Okay? And over here, I'm going to be going by 20s. 20, 40, 80, 100. Okay, so our first point is at 0 and then 28. Then we have 10, 38, 20, 48, 30, 58, 40, 68. Okay. Now, again, we're going to draw our table to help us see the ordered pairs a little bit better. So, if I start with my first point, I have 0, 28. Then we have 10, 38. Then we have 20, 48. And 30, 58. Now, if I look at here, the pattern is that I'm adding 28 each time. 0 plus 28 is 28. 10 plus 28 is 38. 20 plus 28 is 48. 30 plus 28 is 58. So my equation would be y is equal to x plus 28. Now this would be an additive relationship because we are adding 28 each time. Okay? So, like I said, make sure that you copy everything down exactly as I have it. These are going to be your notes, and on Monday we're going to review them and do our homework during class. All right? Thank you.